Today is day 27 of my exodus from the wilderness and into the promised land. Everything in Laurelville, Louisiana that had served me well had served its time, and everything else was gone. God called me to go there 7 years ago, and for 6 of the 7 years, I cared for my mom and my aunt. They both passed away this year. Within the 7 years, I published 4 books. So the mission in Laurelville, Louisiana was complete. I was waiting there on God to deliver me, but in all honesty, God was waiting on me. So a perfect set of circumstances became my exodus. Hurricane Ida became the perfect storm that allowed me to leave. Once I left, I knew that there was going to be no return, at least not back to the family home. I have always known that once I packed up and I left, that was going to be it. Many times God does not call us to return back to the places which he delivers us from unless there is unfinished business. And in my case, the entire duration of my stay in Louisiana was the settling and the rectifying and the restoring of unfinished business. So I came back, not to the family home, but back into Louisiana. I had to tie up a few loose ends. I stayed in a different place. And from the perfect storm, God created the perfect pathway. Many times there is a tendency to want to return back to the place of familiarity, the place where that may not have been uncomfortable, but may to some degree appear safe. In my particular situation, as I believe in most, God does not deliver us from places and lead us back to go through the same places. He did not do it with the Israelites, and I believe that he doesn't do it with us either. It's very interesting that before my exodus, I received a text message from a friend who said, "What if you would just leave everything and just move anyway?" When she texted me that message, I thought, God, please, hopefully you're not going to deliver me in the same way that you have moved me around while I was in the wilderness. But in all honesty, that was true. So she was absolutely right. And the reality is that we cannot expect God to deliver us if we are not planted in the place of blessing. We cannot expect to enter the promised land if we choose to remain halfway in the wilderness. So we can't have 1 foot planted in the wilderness and 1 foot in the promised land and expect for God to deliver us. He's calling us to go all the way in. I don't play poker, although I would like to, but all the way in the game of poker means everything is on the line. You've given it all. You've got the best hand, or you believe that you have the best hand at the table. Someone else is missing something, but you've got it all. In the same way, God is calling us to leave where we were in order to go into where he has prepared for us, what is actually now, and that is promised land. It can be incredibly challenging, frightening, but the reality is that if you look back historically, as God has provided for you every step of the way, he has not stopped. He will continue to provide for you. What he did before, he will do again. The waters that he parted before, he will part those waters again. Those things that he needed you to cross before, he will allow you to cross them again. So if you're wondering how God is going to provide for you, the question is not, if you're wondering if God is going to provide for you, the question is not if God will, but it is how God will provide for you. So it is the perfect storm that creates the narrow pathway, which does not allow us to have many choices. In my particular situation, there were no choices but the place where I am planted right now. There were no places where, believe it or not, even in the town and the state where my family is from, there were no options for me other than where I am planted now. There were not five open doors, and I had to try to figure out what God was doing. God will create a perfect storm and a narrow pathway, and the narrow pathway will give you one choice, and that choice is His will, His plan, and His pathway for your life. It is my prayer that everyone that has heard this message would be blessed 1,000-fold in every area of their lives. It is my prayer that you will share this message with a friend. If this message has blessed you, share it. If this message has encouraged you and empowered you, share it and consider sowing a seed on Joan Taylor ORG. Until next time.